Hello all, today we will look into TOGAF Phase B Business Architecture with Kingdom example. In a peaceful kingdom, there lived a wise king who wanted his land to run smoothly, support all the people, and go stronger every year. But the king had one problem. He didn't clearly know how things were working today or what needed to improve for the future. So the king called his smartest helpers, the business architects, and gave them an important mission. Go explore the kingdom. Tell me how we work today and how we should work in the future. The business architect became detectives and dreamers at the same time. The step one is discover the as is kingdom, the baseline business architecture. They traveled across the kingdom to understand how everything worked, how shopkeepers were selling goods, how messengers delivered letters, how guards protected the gates, how teachers taught in the school, and how farmers grew food, etc. They wrote everything down. This collection became the as is business architecture, the current truth of how the kingdom is operated. The king finally saw how his kingdom really worked. Next step is dream of a better future, to be business architecture. Then the business architects sat under a big tree and imagined a better future kingdom which has faster delivery of goods, happier citizens, better schools, safer borders, smarter ways of doing everyday work. They outlined new roles, new processes, and new improvements for every part of the kingdom. This vision became the to be business architecture, the future state. And as a step three, find the gaps, what's missing. Next, they compare the current kingdom versus future kingdom. Example gaps are today there are 3 messengers, but future needs 10 messengers. Today farmers are using old tools, and for future we need better tools. Today too much paperwork. Future we need faster information systems. These differences were called gaps, like missing puzzle pieces. So as part of step 4, now create a plan to fix the gaps. That's called to be kingdom and roadmap elements. The business architects the business architects turn these gaps into a list of actions. Train more messengers, provide modern farming tools, create new rules and policies, improve processes, upgrade services for citizens. These became the candidate roadmap items, the foundation for future projects and improvements. The king was happy when the king saw the current kingdom, the future kingdom, and the plan to get there. He smiled and said, now we know exactly how to make our kingdom better. This is exactly what TOGAF Phase B Business Architecture is all about. If you have reached this part of the video, I assume you are enjoying the content and learning something valuable. Subscribe to my channel for more TOGAF, enterprise architecture, and storytelling based explanations. Like and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Your support motivates me to make more videos. Thank you. Now let's go deeper. Business architecture objectives. Enterprise needs to operate to achieve the business goals. To achieve the business goals, we must optimize business processes like reducing the manual work, speeding up the approvals, improving customer or citizen service, and improving workforce productivity by providing better tools and technologies, improving employee skills through training, motivating employees with rewards and recognition, and leveraging technology, automating the repetitive tasks, using AI for smarter decisions, upgrading the core systems. So all these things will help us to achieve the business goals and addresses the SOW, statement of work, and stakeholder concerns. Understanding the statement of work will provide a better understanding on scope, boundaries, deliverables, and timelines. Capture and validate the requirements. If there are any conflicts, resolve them and provide transparency and traceability all through. And identify candidate architecture roadmap components. Perform gap analysis, just like we did in the Kingdom example. Understand as is, define to be, identify the gaps, and convert the gaps into roadmap items. The key inputs for phase B that we receive from previous phases are communication plan, where we have a stakeholder map and the means of communicating to the stakeholders according to their ranks. Statement of work. Statement of work will contain all the stakeholder concerns, needs, and priorities, all the things that are required to go further. Architecture vision. It provides us first cut baseline and target architectures. Draft architecture definition. This is the base architecture definition document which will have our base and target architectures. Steps of business architecture, phase B. Reference existing models, viewpoints, and frameworks. All the existing models, viewpoints, and tools in the architecture repository can be looked into, should be looked into, so that we can understand how the business is working on and how the industry is working on. So from there we can take a good guess of what we need to do. Second step is develop the baseline architecture. Develop the baseline architecture is like developing the as is understanding the as is architecture from our kingdom, where you will try to understand what is existing in the system, current system. And then third step is develop target business architecture description. So developing target architecture description is like understanding the to be architecture. What are the needs of the organization and where we want to see the organization in future, and trying to list down all those things what are required to get there is the developing target architecture. Then perform the gap analysis as fourth step, where you will find gaps between baseline and target architectures and try to list down all those gaps. Then define candidate roadmap components. So after performing gap analysis, all the gaps that are listed, find out the components that can fix those gaps and put it into a roadmap according to the priority and needs of the stakeholder. And then next step is resolve impacts across the architectural landscape. So it is very obvious that whenever we are developing any component or any system, there may be few impacts in the existing components or existing system. So and try to understand if there is any impact anywhere, and if there is an impact, try to find the fix for those impacts and keep it ready. And as a next step, conduct formal stakeholder review. List down all the activities that are done, like business baseline business architecture, target business architecture, what are the gaps and what are the fixes for them, if there are any impacts, and what if there are any impacts on the system, then what are the fixes for it, and put it in front of all the stakeholders for a review and get an approval for it, so that everybody is aware of everything and nothing is missed. That is the finalization of the business architecture. And all these things which are listed down are kept into the architecture definition document, that is the creating architecture definition. The key outputs from phase B business architecture is the architecture definition document, just like we discussed now. So all the activities that are done as part of the steps of business architecture will be part of architecture definition document. And then we will have a draft architecture requirement specification, where the list of all the stakeholders concerns, needs, and the priorities, the short term, immediate term, and long term, all the roadmap will be put into the architecture requirement specification. And then we will have refined business architecture principles. So the principles which are there, which we have worked on in the previous phases, those architecture principles will be refined in here according to the architecture definition document and architecture requirement specifications. And then business architecture components. So these are the components that will be part of the roadmap for us. That's about the Phase B business architecture. I hope this helps you. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your colleagues. Thank you.